The Golden Bull, Chapter 32. Despite the tension in the room, Jomar felt calm when Zepha's fingers began to strum the lyre. With his eyes closed, he heard the flowing music as Zepha's pure voice joined the deep sounds of the lyre. We sing now of Aben, whose hands were strong and skillful, who departed from this dwelling, leaving empty places in the heart. We sing now of Aben, whose spirit seeks a dwelling, amid work he joyfully created, with golden hammer, lapis, and tongue. We sing now of Aben, who once more dwells among us, whose parents' hearts are lifted, his restless spirit has come home. Jomar knew the end of the song was near when Zepha began to repeat the last line of the last verse, but this time with a subtle shift of rhythm, her voice and the strumming of the lyre expressed a mood less melancholy and more accepting. Jomar opened his eyes and looked at Sita and Nari. From their rapt faces, he knew that Zepha's music had fallen like rain upon an arid field. Too full of feeling to speak, Gamel started to leave the house, but Nari held him back with a hand on his arm. Zepha's song brings peace to Aben and to us all. I'm coming with you to visit your mother. I'll see her every day as I used to, so you can go back to your job. Gamil smiled at her with teary eyes. We'll welcome this. He and Nari left the house together. Kurgal spoke to Sita. I had no intention of interrupting so solemn an occasion. The high priestess ordered me to come to your house to listen to a young girl play and sing. I thought I could do so at the same time I removed the lyre from your workshop. He frowned. I did not think the girl would be playing on this lyre. Sita nodded to indicate he had heard the director, but said nothing. Kurgal waited a moment, then turned to Zepha. It's clear you're without training, but you played well, and your song was full of feeling. I'm selecting you to be a member of the temple musicians. Like the others, you'll be housed, clothed, and fed at the temple. Someday you may be asked to play on this lyre again, but only after a long period of study. Thank you, Zepha whispered. But do you know about Malak and me? I do, Kurgal said. You and Sita have no reason to fear him, because the high priestess has used her power as well. She has decreed that Malak is no longer a temple official, and you are no longer a slave. Jomar rejoiced at Batati's intervention, but thought with a pang of the loss of Zepha from his life. Will I ever be able to see my sister? He asked the music director. Kurgal nodded. The temple will not be her prison. Her training will be rigorous, but she can come here when she has time to do so. He turned to Zepha. Gather your things together. We'll go to the new dwelling place of both of you and the lyre. Zepha's face was one of slow comprehension of what was happening to her. I will have a life of music, she said softly. Kurgal gave a slight smile, then looked around the workshop. Do you have any unused gold for me to take back to the treasury? Jomar pointed to the small fragment of gold that he'd seen clinging to the edge of the flat stone. Your apprentice is honest, the director said to Sita. Keep the gold as a gift of gratitude from the temple. Here's something else that belongs to the temple, Sita said, holding out the lapis bead. For the ceremony today, this precious gem contained the spirit of my precious, he hesitated, our precious son. Kurgal held up his palm. Keep the bead as well, so Aben's spirit will always stay with you in your dwelling. Sita bent his head low in appreciation. For the last time, he billowed out the cotton cover, which settled gracefully over the lyre. Kurgal gave a signal to the guards, who carefully shouldered the great instrument and walked slowly out of the workroom. After Jomar had lifted Zepha's basket to her shoulders, she turned and spoke to him. All this happened because you made me a lyre so long ago. I made you a toy, Zepha, Jomar said. You took the toy and made music with it, music that moves people who know how to listen. Zepha's face was filled with radiance, and she threw her arms around him. Now you're more than my brother. You're my friend. Jomar embraced her and watched as Zepha bowed to Sita and Nari and left the house with the music director. Her new life was beginning, and so was his.